good to go before you begin using these programs, because we want to keep all of our students safe and make sure we're doing everything the right way. So that being said, this evening's program is going to go as follows. So we have 5-minute presentations with a 5-minute transition period where we can have a few general questions. After our 3 presentations are completed, we will have breakout rooms for 25 minutes. And then we will come back together and finish up with a 5-minute wrap up with some information about CTLE credits and upcoming events that you should be on the lookout for. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the meat potatoes of tonight's talk. So again, if you love something in particular within tonight's event, our presenters have shared some materials that will be able to be accessible to you through the NYSTEEA website. That link will be shared in the chat throughout this evening. That way you have a way to access those documents that have been shared with all of us. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our first presenter of the evening, Scott Gray, and he's going to be talking about evaluation in a pandemic. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to hand the microphone over to Scott.
Hi guys, my name is Scott Gray. I am a technology teacher at Middleburg School, which is mid-state, about 25-30 minutes southwest of Albany. I've been with the district now for about 22 years. I'm also an adjunct instructor at SUNY Cobleskill, where I teach drafting, 3D printing, and I just started doing some work with drones and work with the ag department. We're just starting a new grant, and one of the grants that we're looking into working with is with a company that attaches robotic equipment to lawn mowing and spraying equipment. So I'm doing a lot of work with that right now. One of the biggest issues that I've been faced with this year as a teacher is the discussion that I'm sure a lot of people across New York State are talking about is grading. For personal reasons, I have an 18-year-old son that's severely disabled, and I'm not able to actually work from school this year. This year I'm working completely from home. I built an office in my basement. I had to get some special permissions through my superintendent. And it's very difficult for me because I'm such a hands-on teacher. I've been doing hands-on stuff for 22 years at the school. I've got a big machine shop. I've got a wood shop, a metal shop, a CAD lab. And for me to just switch remote in March and be fully remote since March of last year, it was a big undertaking. How to take all my stuff basically and all the things that I did hands-on and convert it to a digital format, having everything through Google. We were a 365 school up until October. We converted over to Google Classroom. We're using Zoom as a platform to broadcast my lessons every day. I teach 6 classes a day. I teach 7th grade, 8th grade. I teach DDP for 9th graders, 2 periods of that. I'm teaching an architecture class, a materials processing class, and what was the one I forgot? Oh, engineering class that I'm doing as a fully remote, fully independent class. One of the biggest issues that I had is how to take everything that I used to do hands-on and convert it over to digital, first of all. Second of all, how do you grade a lot of the stuff that normally, we'd be actually holding something in our hands to grade? And, in discussions that we've been having at school, there's been some really heated topics in the past month about grades. We have a lot of students on the failing list, the most ever. There's been a lot of discussion among teachers in the Master Teacher Program. I'm a teacher in the Master Teacher Program, and we've been having some hot topic discussions about grading and how we're putting grades on students. And my concern as a teacher is kind of watering down my grades to the point where the students at the upper level are feeling like they don't need to do as much. And then the students in the middle aren't really doing enough. And then the students on the lower end aren't doing anything. And I guess the question that I have for everybody, or the topic I want to get into, is where's the happy medium? Where's the middle? How are you grading your students? What is your school's grading philosophy? Are you being allowed to fail anyone at this time? I'm on my for my department on my department chair for the tech facts ag department. And we're kind of fighting for our departments right now because they want to take kids out of the specials so that they're getting more time in the core subjects. They actually want us to teach the core subjects. So that's one of the things I'm a little concerned about, because they want us to kind of push in the core subjects as opposed to teaching specials. So, maybe taking someone like myself and teaching math or teaching science as opposed to teaching technology, to give the kids more science and math time. So I was just really curious. I've been doing quite a few things different this year digitally. I found an article that I'm going to share. I'm going to put it in the, I'll put it on the link that she posted, but I'm also going to put it down here in the chat so that you can go to. It was from Education Week, and it's the main topic of the article is grading students during a pandemic. Should students be failing? So many students be failing. Can you guys see my screen? Yes? I take it yes?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So this was just a really good article that I read a couple months ago. It actually came out in December, so like a month ago. And I just thought, I brought this back to my principal, and we had a really long discussion about should we be failing students? And we actually had a really heated faculty meeting a couple weeks ago when my superintendent sat back and said, maybe we should just chalk up this whole year to COVID. And everybody's head about exploded because there's so many teachers that are, going over and above to create these awesome lessons and doing so much online. And we've got the kids on the upper echelon that are doing over and above, and they're doing really well. And we got these kids in the middle that are just getting by, and then the kids in the lower end that aren't doing anything. Attendance has been an issue. So I guess during our breakout room, I want to talk about what schools that are doing as far as grading is concerned, how you're evaluating your students. One of the other things that I decided to do this year is, you can still see my screen, right? Am I in my Google?
Yep.
Okay. One of the things I decided to do this year is set up my topics of my Google Drive in my classroom. And I have a topic of new assignments, current assignments. So if I give something new, I put it here. If I do, it's here a day, and then I drop it down into current assignments. And then once the due date comes, I drop it down into another category where I say that I'm accepting second submission. So here's like another class where I have it set up that way, where I say new assignments, current assignments, accepting second submissions. And I give the students an extra week to resubmit a project. And then once they can resubmit a project, it drops down to too late to submit. So I find myself giving them a lot more extra time just because of the pandemic. A lot of students, we're in a hybrid model where we have no more than 28, I think, % of the students in the school at one time because of the size of our school. I see 98 students a day, and any day I might have 40 of them that are fully remote, and the remainder are in school. So I'm teaching, plus I'm teaching fully remote. So all my kids to me are coming through Zoom, and I am teaching to more than half of my students out at home. So I've found myself giving way more time for projects than I ever have. And another thing that I started doing to kind of bring the ELA into my classroom is I just started this thing called journal entries, where I'm teaching students to be an engineer, and I'm talking about an engineering journal. And every 5 weeks, I give them a topic. And this topic, because grading has been an issue, I brought up the term accountability. And I asked them to define accountability on their own level. They have to come up with the definition of accountability. And I asked them questions of, what challenges have you faced this year? How do you think you should be evaluated? Being that Regents testing is looming in the future, do you think you should be held accountable for a state test? Is there something that you feel is fair? Is it fair to judge your teachers in your school based on how well you do on a state test this year? Do you feel it's fair and accountable to record your progress this school year on a test? Do you think your classes have the same rigor and challenge as they have in the past? And then the big one, the hot topic one, was attendance and performance. Our two measures for accountability. Is the hybrid model not allowing you to be accountable for your education? Would you prefer fully in person or fully remote? So we're in a process right now where we're halfway through the school year, and we told students you had to decide if you're going to be fully remote, you're fully remote for half the year. And then at the second half of the year, we'll reevaluate. And if there's students that are just not cutting it, being fully remote, we were going to pull them back to school full time. So I'm just curious of what the models look like in other schools. I'm curious at what other schools are doing as far as grades. Are you just throwing the grade book out the window this year? Or are you holding kids to the same level of accountability as you have in the past? And I don't know, how's my time going, Brooke? I did have one student reply to this that I just thought was phenomenal. And I want to take a second to just read what the student wrote. And it gives a different, go ahead, Brooke.
So you are going a little bit over on your time right now, but I'm sure that in the breakout room, we will be able to share that information with everybody.
I will do that then. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that much.
No worries. You have a lot of great things to say, and I'm happy that you're passionate about it, and I'm happy to hear what you have to say.
So if anybody wants to share out your stories or have like a little breakout session of what, we could come up with some ideas, I would really appreciate it because I'd love to bring back that information to my school, and hopefully you guys will share the same thing. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Alrighty, I am gonna go ahead and share my screen quickly. So our next presenter of the evening is Matthew Lugo, and he is presenting the Monopoly House project. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now, and I'm gonna hand the floor over to Matt.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Matt Lugo. I work at Somers Middle School. I've been teaching for 15 years. 9 years in North Rockland, and then the rest of it in Somers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now and present to you guys. So I came to the last teacher talk, and some of the teachers had asked me to present this. So I just thought it was really cool how people from all around the state were meeting together and sharing ideas. So I wanted to pitch in. So here I am. And if you have any questions, come to the breakout room, or there's my email address. So Monopoly House project is a project that you can do as a 1 or 2 day thing with any CAD program. I normally use Inventor in the past, but now I can't use Inventor because we're remote and kids have to use their tablets. So I switched over to Tinkercad. So usually I make up short design challenge worksheets, and this is an example of one of them where I give just a little bit of information, some background. So it gives a little bit about the history of Monopoly, where it comes from, and then you get a picture of what a normal Monopoly house looks like, which is very bland, boring, no detail. And then we jump into something with a lot of detail, just some examples. And then I always make up a pretend real world situation. So whatever project we're doing, my students have been hired by somebody, or they have somebody that they're helping across the world, or whatever it is that I come up with. So this one, I just said they were hired by the Hasbro company to design a new version of the classic Monopoly house. The other angle I sometimes use, and this is actually true, my wife and her sisters live far away from each other, and they love playing board games. So whenever they meet, they play games for hours, and Monopoly just happens to be one of them. So I usually tell the students, hey, we lost some houses, help me out, let's get some designing done, and we'll 3D print. So I just give some requirements, things that they should be putting into their designs, windows, doors. You guys know things that houses have. So the other way to do this project, if you want to dive a lot deeper, is to get into some architecture type stuff. We talk about some famous architects. So usually I put some quotes. We were using Schoology in our school. So at the beginning of all my classes, we have a do now, and I'll post something on Schoology, and the students will respond and also post back to it, kind of like Facebook type of thing. So I'll put quotes like, what do you think this quote means? Or I'll show them a short video. So these quotes are ones that we've used before about architecture. And then we also will show this is all on those resources with the live link, but it will take you to a short 2 or 3 minute video about different home styles that are used We are NYP school, which is the International Baccalaureate program, and we teach design. So this is their design cycle, as you can see. So this is diving a lot deeper, and we're supposed to grade the students on these 16 things 2 times per year. But for this project, I usually just hit on this A1, explain and justify the need for a solution. So like you've been hired by somebody or you're missing monopoly pieces. The other one I like to get into is A3, which is analyzing existing products. So I'll have the students get on the internet, start searching up different styles of houses, different architecture styles, and then they'll report back to me by creating something like this. So I copied this off of one of my students. So some of the spelling may not be perfect, but you can see they're just finding houses they really love, designs, and telling me why. The important part is you tell me why you think that particular design is so important or so special. What do you like about it? Once we do that, then sometimes I'll have them even make a sketch on paper of get their ideas down, and then we jump into the 3D modeling software. So like I said, this year we're using Tinkercad. So these are all ones that students have created in my class. What I usually do to create these is I'll find videos that other people have made on the internet using Tinkercad. Some of them in other languages, some of them are in our language, and I'll just kind of rework them. I'll watch them, I'll practice what the person did, and then I'll kind of modify it to meet the needs of my students. And these are just a few old examples I found from previous years where we were using Inventor to create our houses. One change, you can see people are doing like yards, and I let them just go with this year. If I had a change, I would definitely have them send me a file to 3D print with just the house. So the house comes out nice, and then I'm not like 3D printing little tiny mini trees and stuff, because that usually doesn't print too well. Some other things that we've done in the past, with our IB units, is we have talked about helping people around the world. So we talk about conserving water, capturing water, people who don't have access to clean water. We talk about people who don't have access to food. So 2 of our big units in the past have been hydroponics and talking about water scarcity. So I'll have the students add on to their house after they're done. In Inventor, I'd actually have them do it as a separate drawing. So then I teach them about assembly drawings where they can connect their water capturing system to the house that they created in a separate assembly file. But you can do it any way that works best for you, but they usually get a kick out of it. And then in our classroom, we grow lettuce. This is a picture that was in the newspaper of our students growing lettuce, and we always have a salad party at the end of each quarter to celebrate the lettuce that we've eaten. Another thing that we've gone, this is new for this year, is interior design. So this is also a document you can find in the resources. We talk about interior designers and what they do. I have some websites. If you go to the HGTV website, there's actually separated by room. So like bathrooms, kitchen, the kids can see a whole bunch of pictures of great rooms, and then they go ahead and they create their own interior design. These are all created by students. All of this stuff they're following videos that I've created. When I first started on Tinkercad, they're just like literally copying what I do to make a wrench and make some basic stuff. And then I have them follow my video, but then, if they don't want to draw the same type of house as me, right? They're gonna make a modern style house. They're gonna put their own shapes in, their own sizes, their own colors, and kind of make it their own. So that is where we're at with this. We have a lot of fun with it. Here are some, let me stop sharing, I guess you guys can see. So this is, I know you probably can't see it too well. It's a little town of Monopoly houses right there. Here's an individual Monopoly house. So they print quick. That's just another thing that makes it nice. So you're not doing like a 5-hour print per student. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and you're welcome to join me in the breakout room, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. What an interesting project. I am definitely interested in trying something similar out with my middle schoolers.
Can I ask Is Tinkercad 2D compliant? I was just wondering that if Tinkercad was 2D compliant.
So my school has given us the okay as long as we don't put any student information on it. So all of my usernames are generic, like tech, bike 20, whatever it is. And then they're not allowed to put any personal information. So like if we're making a keychain, I tell them to put their favorite superhero, sports team, but don't make one about you.
Okay.
So Tim, I can jump in to talk about that. So my district, we gained a DPA with Tinkercad, but every district is different. So I would work with whoever your tech coordinator or your data privacy officer is in your district.
Okay.
So it's not like a vendor stamps their, yeah, I'm EdLaw 2D compliant. It's based on the contract between a district and the vendor.
Okay.
So we can't say one way or the other. You'll have to work with your district.
Is Tinkercad free or is that a paid program?
It's free.
Totally free.
Okay.
Which is crazy. I think maybe as an organization, we should really pressure the state to have that Ed2D defined a little differently so that there could be like a master list. Like I think of purchasing things and you've got state contract. There should be state contract for software. So as an organization, I would love to see us push the state to come up with a list of Ed2D compliant that we don't have to go through all the hassle of that. I think it's kind of crazy for every school to do something different.
Yeah, it's a little hard. Unless you're the DPA, you don't really know the full details of it. So
Yep.
it's hard. Brooke, I'm going to pass it back over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely want to make sure that we give everybody a nice amount of time to present. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once again. So our final presentation for the night, we have Pamela Urbanek. I hope I said your last name correctly, by the way. And she is talking about Screencastify and exploring some of the basics with this website that we can use in our classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing again and go ahead and pass the microphone over again.
Sounds great. So what I'm going to do right now, and I promise to be really short right over here in this part because I'm just going to be showing you how to use this tool, this amazing tool that most of your students can use and your teachers can end up using, and how you can incorporate this into your classroom, because especially now with people being home and students not listening and just even right before I got onto this meeting, I was looking for the link for this and students were over there, asking me questions. Parents are like, how come you don't have this, don't have that, whatever else. It's like, okay, all right, I have helpful videos. Don't you worry about this. But just to give you a little bit of a background with me, my name is Pamela Urbanek. I teach right outside Buffalo, New York in Clarence. Middle school, pretty much middle school for all of my years that I've been teaching out there. But I'm a New York State master teacher. I'm also a master teacher for Project Lead the Way. So we are a Project Lead the Way school. So you will be seeing a lot of my stuff for Robotsy, because I teach mostly robotics, but I also do work with Inventor. So we are still using Inventor with our students. We're using it through a virtual system right now. So things for what we do, it really hasn't changed too much with us being home right now. The only problem is we can't build with all of our students with the machines. But for the kids who are in school, it's actually kind of nice, because I used to have class sizes of 25 to 30, and now with we're hybrid. So I'll have only half of them in a class at a time. So it's like we're actually pumping out the projects a lot faster than we used to. The only problem is that the students are not handing in the stuff like they used to. So that's one of our biggest problems. But Screencastify, it's just a Google Chrome extension. So if you're using Google with your schools, just make sure that you are logged into your school account. So right here on my personal computer, I have my daughter's account, my personal account, and also my school account. And I'm noticing just little tiny differences with this from what I can do with my school account and what I can do with my personal account. So those are just some different things that I will be showing you. But when you finally put this extension on, it's going to appear right in your Google extension toolbar right over here as this. And then when you click on it, and so right now my Zoom meeting's in the way over here, but when you click on it, there's different things that you can record. So you would be recording your screen. You can also record your webcam. So if you want to have a little image of you down there talking while you're explaining to the students, that's fine. I choose not to do that. So that's not something that you have to do. One of the things with more options, though, you do have drawing tools, and well, I'll go over a little bit later if you happen to be in my breakout meeting. But things that I have done in my classroom before, we do use Schoology. And for my 6th graders, we do mostly robotics, and we are using virtual worlds right now since we can't use the actual robots. But any of their little health videos, I have made these for them. So if I start noticing a lot of students are saying like, hey, I need help with this, I need help with that, I will make little tiny videos, take them from Screencastify, download them as MP4s, and then put them up on my Schoology page for them to view. And it has helped out tremendously with things, because for the students who are just MIA, it's like, you know what? Hey, you couldn't come to my meeting, so take a look at this. If you need more help, these are the times that we are having extra help meetings. Same thing with my work with Inventor that I'm doing with my students, just how to create a standard IPT, how to start putting the views into your title block and putting the dimensions on it, how to extrude. I have a whole bunch of different videos on that. I know that a lot of these same things are out there up on YouTube, but once again, you don't know what's going to be at the end of those videos on YouTube, or even for the middle school level. There's not a whole lot of middle schools that are using Inventor. So for me to get down to exactly what I want them to do, this is absolutely perfect. So what I'm just going to be showing a little bit in the breakout session is how to start creating your own videos really easily, how to save them, because if you do end up like with your school Google account, so right now it's on my personal one. So if I go back to my school account, and if I go down to my drive, it will save all of the videos that I have taken so far in my Google Drive automatically. So down here, here's all my Screencastify videos that I have created. So once again, it does take a little bit of file management, which I'm finding that my students now have no clue what to do, because everything is called untitled document or untitled file. But once you get the hang of it, it's very easy to work with. It really is. I just hate hearing my voice over and over again on these videos. So once I do them, I end up just downloading them as an MP4, throwing them up on Schoology, and then I keep telling my students, it's like, hey, just go on there and see what there is. So I know they're going to make a meme about me one day in school because of all of this. But that's it.
All right, thank you. That I love Screencastify. I know I use the free version, and I really am interested in seeing what else we can do, and maybe even having my district purchase that paid version with all the extra tools, if that's something that we have to pay for, or if it's something just being a professional organization.
I think it's something that just the schools, or I don't want to say just the schools, but the schools have access to with it.
Okay.
But I know that if you are a school district, like a Google school district, you can create up to, I don't know if it's like unlimited for free or 50 videos a month for free. You will never, ever use that much. But there are little tiny things that you are only able to do with, or that, you know, limitations that you have with the free version versus the educator version.
Okay, good to know. Thank you. All right, so this is the part of our evening. Before I get started though, did anybody else have questions for Pamela before we move on? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again just to give everybody a quick overview of how the remainder of the evening is going to go. So let me go ahead. All right, so we have 3 different breakout room options for this evening based on the 3 presentations we have. Again, Scott Gray is talking about evaluation in a pandemic. We have Matt talking about the Monopoly House project, and Pamela talking about Screencastify and going further in depth on those awesome tools that we can use to create those videos. So what we are going to do is quickly remind everyone, we do want to all be kind, give everybody a chance to speak, ask questions, be very considerate, make sure to mute yourself if you're not talking. That way, though, other people in the Zoom can hear what everybody is saying. And if anything seems very like harassment or mean, please let us know. We do not want anything like that to be anyone's experience, and we will definitely resolve that immediately. And lastly, stay on topic, and if it's not a group for you, you can always go to a different breakout room as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Caitlin take over. Give me 1 second. There we go. So now we're gonna open up those breakout rooms.
So quick question before oh, sorry, can you hear me okay? They came in weird. How many minutes for breakout rooms?
I am thinking 20 minutes, just because we are we're at 7:38 right now, instead of that 25, so we can wrap up a little sooner.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to open up the breakout rooms, and you should be getting a notification, and you should be able to select your own breakout room. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yes. All right. So yeah, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you should see Join Breakout Room, and you can go ahead and select where you are headed.
If nothing's popping up, let me know and I can place you into a breakout room.
I'm
I
trying.
don't have anything showing on my screen here from Henry.
Okay, Henry, where do you want to go?
Matt.
Let's go into the evaluation.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Yep.
I'm just trying to join one. I'm not sure how I join it.
Okay, Tim, where do you want to go?
I was just going to try the Screencastify for a few minutes. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Henry, did you get a message? You have to accept it.
I didn't get a message.
In the
Oh,
bottom,
not that Henry,
right,
the other one. Henry Strata, where do you want to go?
I'll go with Matt Lugo.
Chris, where do you want to go?
Group 2, please. Matt will go. All right, thank you.
Welcome. Mr. Powers, where do you want to go?
I don't think I have the newest Zoom. That's why I didn't have the thing pop up. I think that's what it was, because we have that sometimes as a master teacher. Can I get with Pamela, please?
Adios.
Thank you.
all right. So it looks like Linda, I see that hers, it has her wanting to join, but it says not join next to it. So is that something on?
Oh, there we go.
Left. I was just gonna. Okay, awesome. So I hope everybody had some wonderful conversations in our breakout rooms. I know we were having lots of great conversations as we were seeing people pop in and out and making sure everybody got where they needed to go. So NYSTEEA members, as long as your membership is current, you can actually receive CTLE credits from tonight's event. So just a quick little note here. If you are on the NYSTEEA website, there is in the upper right-hand corner, the teacher little tab, and underneath you will see CTLE credits. There's a form located there, and you just want to make sure that you are filling out the form and saying that it wasn't a conference that you attended, it was a different event. I can't remember how exactly it's worded, but I think there's 3 different options, right, Caitlin? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
And
I also dropped the direct link in the chat.
Perfect, thank you. So again, great opportunity to get some CTLE credits in. I know lots of districts, like, we can't have our physical conferences, and it's really great that we can offer this to all of our members. So definitely take advantage of this if you can. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is just my quick final remarks. If you're interested in presenting at another one of these talks, I would love to hear from anyone with any ideas. My email is right up here at beebersold@fmschools.org. And again, I love hearing from people and getting ideas and wanting to share what other people have done, because that's what these talks are all about. And I'm so happy that we're continuing with these. Our next talk is more of a happy hour format where we all get together. Depending on the number of people, we can do some smaller discussion breakout rooms. We have a variety of topics that we discuss, and it is essentially an hour of just getting together with other tech and engineering educators and seeing what we are doing for problem solving in our current pandemic state, whether you're remote, hybrid, or even fully in person. If you are, I'm really jealous right now. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is our annual conference. So as most of you know, we have that annual March conference that we do as NYSTEEA, and I am proud to announce that we are still having the conference, although it will look a little different. I know, I'm so excited, and I'm really hoping that everybody is going to continue to join in on these events and join in for our conference. How it's going to work, we have actually 2 weeks set aside for our conference this year. The first week is asynchronous. I know some people may be thinking, I don't want to hear asynchronous or synchronous. Those words kind of trigger me. But anyway, week 1 is March 8th to the 12th. And that Monday, we are releasing all of our presenters' pre-recorded videos. So you will have a week to digest all of that material, formulate questions, and kind of get your brain thinking about what can I do with what the presenters are offering me. That following week, we will have Hot Topic nightly discussions. It's March 15th to the 18th. And those topics are going to vary based on the strands that we have created. At this time, I'm not sharing too much information about the conference because we do have our planning meeting next week, and we do want to finalize those details before we promise you guys anything else. And so just know that we will have a full week of presentation time to watch videos. And a few days that following week, we have the Monday through Thursday scheduled. And then that Saturday morning, we will have our closing ceremonies, and we will have some meetings in the morning and a vendor opportunity to learn and see what our vendors are up to and how they can support us. So if you're interested in presenting for that conference with pre-recorded videos, please make sure to look out for the emails that should be coming out next week. That way we can get you signed up. We can start getting people together based on the strand. Again, we're going to learn more about that once our emails to our presenters, vendors, and our members go out. And I look forward to releasing all that information to everybody in the very near future. So again, keep a lookout on your emails and the NYSTEEA website to see what's coming up. So thank you all so much for attending tonight's event. I think we had a great group of people presenting and a great group of people who came and attended and listened in. Again, I hope your discussions were fruitful and you got lots of great information that you can use in your classrooms. And please make sure, Caitlin, I don't know if you can copy that form link and put that in there for me. We do have a feedback survey that we want you to answer. That way, if you're looking for something specific, or if you think there's something that we could do differently to make these nights better, please share, because we're all about changing and making things better. So on that note, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening and a great weekend, and I will see all of you virtually, hopefully next month at our happy hour in February.
Brooke, you're going to have to copy and paste that in for me, please.
That is okay. Let me go ahead and get that in there. All right.